Hi, it's Darnell with Way Loving Recipes, and today I'm going to be making whole wheat donuts using a combination of cookers. I'm going to be using the Zojirushi Virtuoso Plus Breadmaker to make the dough, and then for the proofing and air frying, I'm going to be using the Ninja Combi Multicooker oven and air fryer and the Ninja Foodie Flexbasket air fryer, the 11 quart, because I'm going to have so much dough. And so we're going to see how all of this goes, and let's get cooking right now. So to make the dough, the first ingredient is milk, and I'm going to be using 1 1/4 cup of milk. I'm basically using milk that's made from powdered milk because I don't drink a whole lot of milk, so I have powdered milk here. But basically you take 1 1/4 cups of water and you mix it with 5 tablespoons of powdered milk, and that gives you 1 1/4 cups of milk. So that's our first ingredient. The next ingredient is 1 large egg, well beaten, so pouring that in there. Be sure you put the ingredients in the order that I'm using, and make sure that the paddles on your bread maker are pointing in the same direction. That'll make sure that your loaf comes out even. The next ingredient is 3 cups of finely ground whole wheat flour. Now, this recipe is basically inspired by one that Zojirushi gives in their recipe guide that comes with the cooker for regular dough, not whole wheat dough. But if you want that, you'd have to get the bread maker and the recipe book that comes with it, because that's their recipe and I'm just giving you mine. So if you need variations, you'll have to come up with your own. I just put in 1/2 cup of vital wheat gluten on top of the whole wheat flour. So after you use 3 cups of whole wheat flour, you do, and that's got to be finely ground whole wheat flour, by the way. Don't just use any old type of whole wheat flour. And then 1/2 cup of vital wheat gluten. Help things rise up real nice. The next ingredient is 3 1/2 tablespoons of a granulated sweetener, but I'm using organic monk fruit extract powder, so I'm going to use just 1 1/2 teaspoons of it, because a little of it goes a very long way. Basically 1 teaspoon is equivalent to like 8 teaspoons of other granulated sweeteners, but it's very low glycemic impact and it's very helpful. And notice that I'm putting that around the edges. So basically everything goes around the edges, even the vital wheat gluten goes in on top of the flour, but around the edges, not in the center. In the center I'm going to be making a well, a little shallow well, where I'll put the yeast. So I'll just actually make that now, just kind of make a little shallow well there, and the yeast will go in there. But the yeast will go in last. The next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of salt, so this is sea salt here. And the next ingredient is 4 tablespoons of butter. I basically chopped it up into small pieces so that while I was getting the other ingredients, since it's coming out the fridge, it would be warmed up a little bit through to room temperature or so when putting it in here. Now the final ingredient is 1 teaspoon of yeast. You can use rapid rise yeast or bread machine yeast. And so with that, we're all done with all of the ingredients. And remember that yeast goes into that little well in the middle there. So going to go ahead and start setting up the cooker for cook. Well, actually the bread machine for making dough is what I'm doing. And I'm sliding the camera, sorry, I'm having to move it for you so that you can see what I'm doing here. But basically for the course setting, I'm going to go to course 11, which it is already on. It tells me the time that it'll be done. And so that's for the dough setting. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And I'm going to push this back because once this thing gets moving, don't want it falling off the counter or anything like that. But it's going to take almost 2 hours for it to make the dough. So I'll bring you back then. Okay, so the bread maker has finished making the dough, so I've just got it out of the dough making pot out of the bread maker for convenience. I'm basically going to take the dough out here that you can see. I'm getting one of the little agitators there got stuck, so getting that out. But basically at this point, all you do is you take the dough ball, make it into like, well, make a dough ball, and just make it into a ball. Just leave it here, and I'm just going to cover it with some paper towels. Just cover it for 20 minutes and let it rest. Okay, so 20 minutes have passed. Going to remove the cover from my dough here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my rolling pin to roll out this dough to about a ½ inch thick, and then I'm going to use what is usually used as my biscuit mold to make basically circular shapes for donuts. And I'll just kind of cut a hole in the middle. I've got my Ninja Foodie Flexbaskets basket here with some parchment paper in it. I've got the baking pan with the air fry rack in the Ninja Combi in there. I've got some parchment paper in that one too, so basically I'm going to put the donuts on the lined parchment paper. So I've got one donut kind of pressed out there, just kind of poking a hole to make the hole in the donut. Just like this here. Let's make my donut shape. So this is one donut. I'm going to go ahead and just set it inside here on the parchment paper. And I'll just keep trying to make sure that don't disturb the integrity of the hole in the middle. Try and keep that. I'm going to go ahead and press out some more. Basically, the biscuit mold doesn't get all the way through this whole wheat dough. It's a little tough, but just use a knife to kind of help cut around. And you basically just get your donut shapes out and then set them out in your cooker where you're going to do your proofing. Alright, I've made about 7 donuts so far. So with the rest of this dough, that basically I'm going to have to reshape it and roll it out in order to make some more donuts out of it. And I do know I could put a little bit of flour on my rolling pin so things won't stick. I'm aware of that, but I'm just going at it like this anyway till I get it rolled out again to make some more donuts. Alright, with this last bit of dough, I'm not going to try and roll it into donuts. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of roll it out like in bands like this. You can make donuts in different shapes, you know. So these are going to be kind of like twist donuts. So roll these out flat like this. And what you do is you take it, put the ends together and kind of braid it, twisty braid it. So this will be kind of like a twist donut. Although I could have, if I was just making twist donuts, I could have manipulated the dough differently earlier on when I first took it out of the bread machine, but since this is just some leftover, I'm just going to do it with this. So, just putting one of these over into the Flexbasket. The other one, let's see, there's room. Maybe I'll throw one in the Combi too. It's bound together nice and tight. I'm just kind of like putting a little hole in the top a little bit there. It's going to be kind of tight in the Combi, but put it right there. Alright, now I've got to, in order to let things preheat, well actually no, it's not preheat, sorry. No preheat. So I was thinking I had to take the parchment paper out and put the pan in the preheat, but I forgot. This isn't the bake stage. This is the proof stage. We'll have to do that in the bake stage. But basically what you do now, and I'll do this with the ones that are in the flex basket too. They're in here. I can't hold it too well for you to see because I don't want to have things fall out. But basically just spray with some water, spritz it, and go ahead, put it in, and let me move things so you can see a little better. Now I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go over to the Combi Cook settings, go down to proof, and I'm going to do 95 degrees Fahrenheit and 30 minutes. So proof for 95 degrees, 30 minutes, hit start, do that there. And I'll do the same over in the Ninja Flex Basket. I won't be able to show you that, but you'll just have to trust me on that, and I'll show you them when they're all done proofing. So the proofing time is up. So here's the ones in the Flex Basket. As best I can show you there. They did rise a good bit. And I'm going to go into the Ninja Combi, see what we got there. Seems like we got some rise, but probably not as much as we got from the Flex Basket. Maybe because there's more room in the Flex Basket, I don't know. But when I did rolls, it seemed like things rose more during the proofing stage in the Combi than the Flex Basket. So it seems kind of the opposite this time. But what I need to do now, I need to get this parchment paper out and just kind of set it aside while the cooker is preheating. The Flex Basket will just start cooking right away, so I don't have to worry about taking things out of there. But here in the Combi, going to, well, just use the knuckle here to get it done. Gonna flip it over to the cooking side of the house. I'm gonna do a regular bake. So let's see, go down to bake, 350. Maybe 15 will get it, we'll see. We'll try that. So hit start, let it preheat. While it preheats, I'll get the Flex Basket back into its cooker and I'll start it up after we get things into the Combi. Okay, one step I forgot to mention is that I wanted to spray the donuts with some extra light olive oil. Extra light olive oil should not be confused with extra virgin or other types of olive oil. It doesn't taint the flavor, it has a much higher smoke point. It's not like the other olive oil. But I want to spray them with the oil since we're air frying. And I've already done that with the ones in the Flex Basket. And I got that one started because the Flex Basket needs a few more minutes to cook things. So I've got that running for 18 minutes since it doesn't have a preheat. So it's already going. And we'll get these loaded into the Combi. Lord willing, I don't somehow burn myself or something. I'm trying to get the basket out best I can. Let's see. There we go. Alright, here we go. That's about how we want things. So close it up. We'll go ahead and let things cook, and I'll bring you back when time is up. Whoa, halfway through the cook, I just realized I was supposed to be air frying because they're donuts instead of baking. So, gonna see if I can switch things over to bake. Well, I guess I'll have to turn it off, turn it back on. But we'll go down to 350 here, and I'll go over to the Flex Basket and do the same. But I guess they're getting half of a air frying and half of a baking. But do 8 minutes there. And we'll just do air fry the other half of the way and see how it goes. But I'll bring you back. Alright, after just doing a little bit of time on the air fry, I'm seeing the tops are getting cooked really fast. So I'm going to fall back to bake. And I'm going to do bake for the rest of the way on both of these. And just recommend you use bake instead of air fry, because I think air fry is going to overcook the tops of things way too fast. So cutting it off, cutting it on, back to bake. Just give me a few minutes of bake so that my tops don't get overcooked. And I'll go do the same thing on the Flex Basket. I'll bring it back. Alright, so these here in the Ninja Combi finished a little earlier than the ones in the Flexbasket, so I just went ahead and opened the door for presentation's sake so that you could see how they look now that they finished. Mostly baked, you know, got a short stint on air fry, but mostly baked. And I'll show you the ones from the Flexbasket now. Here are the ones from the Flexbasket. You see they got a bit more browning on top, I guess, especially getting a little bit of air fry time. So just stick to bake. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm going to go ahead and get these out on plates. Alright, so with them all done, these are the ones from the Flexbasket. See the top, see the bottom, and I have these still on the parchment paper because I didn't want them to in any way get a little stuck to the air fry rack. So everything worked out well. The top is pretty hard, the bottom is a bit softer. The ones from the Combi, they didn't grow, they didn't rise as much as the ones from the Flexbasket, so that's interesting. With rolls it was the exact opposite. But you see the top, a little firm on top, bottom is just a tad softer, but more done I think on the bottom on the Combi than from the Flexbasket. Yeah, the Combi got a little more done on the bottom because that bake has the underside heat, which the Flexbasket does not. But basically from this point you've got your donuts. You can basically put whatever type of topping on top of the top of them that you desire or prefer. But I do feel that the extra light olive oil being sprayed on the top did help to basically give a little crisp to the tops of the donuts. I think that's why they have that kind of hardened top a little bit, even though the donuts feel softer underneath. I think that the extra light olive oil did that, and especially like here I can feel it's nice and soft in there. But what I'm going to top mine with, I'm going to top one for taste testing with peanut butter and another one with my chocolate hazelnut butter. If you haven't seen my recipes for chocolate hazelnut butter and peanut butter, those are here on the channel, as well as over 800 other videos and tens of cooker reviews. There are full reviews of the cookers that were used here in this video too. So just grabbing one of these donuts here and grabbing a donut here, and no, I won't be eating these donuts totally in one day, but I'm just getting them ready for taste test purposes, and I guess I'll eat a little of each for taste test purposes and maybe have a little more today and then have to finish one of them maybe tomorrow. So I have a peanut butter donut and a chocolate hazelnut butter donut. But I mean, you could, you know, melt some chocolate if you want chocolate donuts. You could get some sugar, powdered sugar, and, you know, mix that up to make like a little glaze if you want it like a kind of sugary glaze on it. Have like some powdered sugar and a little bit of water and make like a sugar glaze if that's what you want. You can top on whatever you want. I mean, even if you wanted to put like some jelly or something on it, you just have a jelly top donut. That's all up to you, whatever you want to do. But this is what I'm doing for mine. I guess if you were making homemade donuts, you can leave a comment talking about the toppings you would have on your donuts and how you like your donuts made up, and maybe you can use a recipe like this to make your own at home and do them the way you prefer. But with this done, let's go ahead and do a taste test. So thank God for some donuts. Let's go ahead and taste. We'll start with the peanut butter from the Ninja Combi. Always should have water on hand, but let's go ahead and try the one from the Flexbasket. Okay, both taste good. I think the ones in the Ninja from Ninja Combi just seem a little bit softer. Both have a crisp outside and a soft inside, but the Combi I think got that donut texture a little better than the Flexbasket. Although both work, and you could have some good donuts from both. I'm just kind of giving you the impression from using two at the same time. Both can do it, and both turn out well. Now, nothing in this video is sponsored, nothing given to me. And so in the video description, there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch membership, donations, link to the Amazon shop, pay the same price, help the channel. Also, you can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. That's superwaveovenrecipes.com. And there's a buy me a coffee link there. There's buy me a coffee in the video description too. So, with all that said, if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.